The Environment and Rural Development Foundation (Erudef) was born in 1999 with a vision of conserving wildlife and protecting fragile environments in Cameroon. The Cross River Gorilla Conservation Project is one of Erudef's projects which seeks to save the last great ape species in the forests of the Lebi-Alem Highlands. Since its inception in 2004, the program has embarked on a regular biomonitoring of the critically endangered Cross River gorilla and the Cameroon-Nigerian chimps. Currently, Erudef is assisting the Cameroon government towards the complete gassment of a proposed wildlife sanctuary. This sanctuary, christened the Tofala Wildlife Hills Sanctuary, is home to some 40 Cross River gorillas, over 200 Cameroon-Nigerian chimps, and a host of other endemic fauna and flora. Another protected area Erudef is working on is a proposed Magbechu Sanctuary with a presence of over 300 chimps, elephants, and a yet-to-be-determined population of gorillas. The organization is also working towards the creation of the Mount Bambutus Integral Forest Reserve to conserve the ecosystem of this mountain. The Mount Bambutus, it would be recalled, responds to 40% of energy and water needs of Cameroonians. This mountain is one of the priority sites the Cameroon government is working to reforest. In 2008, the government relaunched the initiative to reforest this mountain, and in 2009, it moved ahead to propose the site as an integral ecological reserve. In a bid to reduce the pressure in the forests of the Lebi-Alem Highlands from hunting and farming, Erudef, with the help of its partners, has donated 3 oil mills, piglets, and beehives as an alternative source of livelihood in Lebi-Alem. From the manual oil mill to the mechanized mill that stepped up production and quality of palm oil, this has gone a long way in improving the livelihoods of the people and consequently reducing the pressure on the forests, as a native explains.
Yes, in the past, gorillas and chimps were so many and people were hunting them like animals, using them for their food. They didn't know about the gorilla and chimp out in there. Just because the Erudef, an NGO came in, like the Erudef came and sensitized people not to kill, that the animals are endangered species, and now people stop killing them. So they believe that the animal now are used like people. They have a use like people, animal like people, so that they should not be killed and they stop killing.
The project has educated former poachers versed with the forest to drop their guns in favor of conservation. Apart from protecting wildlife, Erudef has expanded her conservation program through reforestation and agroforestry. The organization in 2007 introduced the planting of trees to address food security issues amongst resource-poor farmers through agroforestry technologies. Trees are also planted to restore degraded forest landscapes and fighting global warming. In the west and northwest regions of Cameroon, the landscape is mostly the grass field. The dry nature of the soil has sometimes disfavored the growth of certain crops. The organization therefore introduced the planting of forest species such as acacia, Luciana, and Caliandra to farmers in this region to improve on the quality of the soil and discourage farmers from the excessive use of chemical fertilizers. While the roots of this tree serve as protection against soil erosion, the leaves, when in the ground, increases soil fertility. The tree trunk has also been found to be a good material for construction. Furthermore, the women who cultivate climber crops such as beans and yams use them as support poles for their crops. Trying to confirm the success of these identified plant species, the executive director of Erudef, alongside the partner Trees for the Future, caught up with farmers in Mancon. What has been the impact of the introduction of agroforestry technique in this your farm?
Well, to start with, my name is Mishimbo Joseph there. I am the resource person of Magman Group. In fact, for the past years, we have been suffering so much on this land here, pertaining to erosions, poor soil fertility, and winds. So, especially for the past 2 years, we have developed a lot of increase. This should be our fifth year in the program, and we have realized a lot of increase in production. The erosions that have been a big problem here, erosions, I think it's almost coming up. The wind that has been destroying the farm is also reducing, and then the hill too is coming. And then the soil texture is retaining water now. For the past 4 years, retaining water more better than before. And you can see even in the dry season, for the early days, this would have been dried now. But now you see they are still very fresh, showing that the soil fertility.
So you spoke of an increase in yield. Can you quantify it? Can you compare it from, let's say, in the past and now?
Yeah, take
for example maize.
Maize, that's my principal crop. I used to have just about 10 bags of maize here, the whole of this area, which just about 1 ton.
Okay.
But now, last year I had about 3 tons. Down here, 5 tons. Down here, almost 1 So, and again too, I'm specialized in maize seed multiplication. And my seed, in fact, also my seed, it's in the northwest region is top in the first.
Okay.
Contents. That's through laboratory tests.
Okay. So with this increase in your yield, can you say that you've witnessed an increase in your income? And if yes, how?
Yeah. We have witnessed already increase in our income. Since our lifestyle has changed, we are doing things now more easy and better than before. Our children, our health care, in fact, our livelihood is improved.
In Batibo, still in the northwest region of Cameroon, women involved in the cultivation of maize also use leaves of acacia to increase soil fertility.
On the beds, then we cover it with the soil, then we do the planting.
What's the importance of putting the leaves on the bed?
Will give us manure. Will make the crops to grow well.
So what observation have you made after putting the leaves there?
We've seen that the crops have already done well. Yes. Oh, planted the August crop.
Can you quantify it, maybe comparing it to the past?
Okay. Before, especially on this plot, we used to harvest just around 2 buckets on the half. But now that we have used this method, by putting these leaves on the beds, we have harvested about 6-something buckets.
For the growth of livestock, the plant acacia also serves as fodder for pigs, as we saw in Bafut.
Even with the sticks, it peels the barks like this. When you put the big ones, as you can see, it's true. Yes, they eat all of them. This is acacia, this is Lucina, and there's calendar. So they eat all of them, all the trees.
The executive director of Erudef explains some of the challenges the agroforestry technology project seeks to address.
These techniques were introduced here in 2009, and the main objective was to increase the food production and productivity per hectare of resource-poor farmers in Manual Division. So we noticed that farmers here were spending a lot of money in terms of buying chemical fertilizers, especially what they call 2010 nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. And increasingly, with increasing prices of these chemicals, and one bag being 25,000 francs, it became difficult for the rural farmers of this area who have depended over the last decades on the use of these chemical fertilizers they became incapable of buying these fertilizers. So our program in manual therefore was designed to progressively replace the use of these chemical fertilizers with these natural nitrogen coming out of these leaves.
As part of efforts to restore degraded landscapes through tree planting, Erudef is currently working towards the restoration of the Mount Bambutus, which was once a dense forest, but due to poor land practices, it has now become degraded. The Environment and Rural Development Foundation, Erudef, is one of the non-profit making organizations in Cameroon that has over the years demonstrated its effectiveness through the designation of certain protected areas in the Lebi-Alem forest. It is gradually becoming the focal point of many international organizations, and it's looking forward towards becoming the center for conservation in the next decade.